Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel as Mike's Talks and Thoughts here, back in with another video for you guys. And today we are back again with the TV series reviews, and today we have Narcos here. Narcos, a series that I just finished very recently here. Really wanted to give my thoughts on it for you guys, and also want to see your thoughts on it down below in the comments section. Of course, in the TV series reviews, follows the same format throughout. Give a synopsis of the show, my thoughts on the show, a one show recommendation, and then also a tier ranking for that show. And if you really like this TV series review, I have an entire playlist here dedicated to the TV series reviews on my channel. So if there's any other series that you're curious if I've covered, definitely check that playlist down in the description below. Definitely looking to do a lot more in the future here. And without further ado, let's get into Narcos here. So Narcos was a show that ran from 2015 to 2017. It had 30 total episodes, and the show was created by Chris Brancato, Doug Muro, and Carlo Bernard. In Narcos here, it basically follows life of the drug dealer of Pablo Escobar. That is the main focus here for the first few seasons here, following Pablo Escobar. Pablo Escobar being the richest criminal of all time, a lot of extensive backstory on him, and following these two DEA agents, Javier Pena and Stephen Murphy, and sort of their trials and tribulations of trying to catch the big boss man here. And then in season 3 here, we see the Cali cartel sort of get involved into this story here, and that's where the plot goes from there. It's a really, really interesting take on the real life events that happen, and taking it here from the source material of having it be real life events is kind of crazy, and really want to see their take on it, see how accurate it is. I don't know personally everything about these two stories here, but here I do know a decent amount of what happens, of course, in the whole Pablo Escobar scenario, with all the stuff that he got into. Of course, one of the most notoriously documented criminals of all time. So that's a little bit of the synopsis on Narcos here. So if you haven't seen all of Narcos, I'm going to leave a timestamp right here to skip to the one show recommendation and my closing thoughts. But if you have seen all of Narcos, definitely stick around and hear my thoughts on Narcos here. So Narcos, for me personally, I absolutely loved the first season. I thought the first season did a really great job of introducing the DEA agents and Javier Pena and Stephen Murphy. You get to learn about how Javier likes, getting with his CIs, and he's kind of, he can be suave at points, which I really like. And Pedro Pascal, one of my favorite actors of all time, absolutely love him, so I knew I had to check this series out for him. He was the main part that really intrigued me, as well. It was with Pablo Escobar here. Getting back into the DEA agents real quick, we see Stephen Murphy, we see his home life, his wife, and we kind of find out how he met his wife and seeing how she's sort of along with the journey as well. I really like building these two characters. And then my ultimate favorite character here from any of the seasons was Pablo Escobar. Just so charismatic and so charming. The actor who played Pablo was absolutely incredible. I think that he just gave off so many great ranges of emotion. Really played Escobar really well here. And that first season, like I said, is just building up to how Escobar really gets his start in the big business here. And we get to see how much power he has and how many people he can control and manipulate. And it really shows how it took forever to get him caught, because he had so many informants and CIs and, just so many people working for him that he had every one of his tracks covered here. And like I said, he is just so great. He can be so charismatic at points. And like I said, let out so much emotion here. Pablo being my favorite character, and seeing him, build his own prison, which was so insane to see here. That was something that I knew a little bit about going into the show here, about Pablo and his prison here, and I think they did a really great job there. We get to see how he just got the president and the Minister of Defense in his back pocket here, or one up on them, I should say, where he has everything figured out and just knows how to cover his tracks. And we see just the frustration that a lot of the police force has with either being paid off by Pablo or, of course, not being able to catch him. Season 2, on the other hand, I feel like was a little bit slower for me, and one that I know I'm going to probably get a lot of flack on for not liking as much, but for me, I think season 2 is easily the weakest season of the show, just because Pablo is not really doing much at this point. He's kind of laying low and in hiding, and for me, that was just something that, I understand why they had to go that route because of how season 1 ended with, the whole shootout at the prison and Pablo having to escape and, find a way to stay out there for his family. But then his family, gets involved with the Los Pepes. We see how they get caught in the crossfire here with his mom, of course, leaving the safe house, blowing their cover, and the Los Pepes just taking out Pablo. And Pablo is like, he really wants to go out and do stuff about this, but he just can't because he has to stay in hiding because of all the stuff that he's already been through. And I just felt like it was a little bit slow at points. Like I said, just a lot of filler and trying to push through into the end to see Escobar's fate. But 2 episodes that I really want to point out are the episode with Carrillo's death and, of course, Pablo's death. I think those 2 easily the best of season 2. Easily some of the better episodes in the show. A really shocking moment when Carrillo, of course, thinks he has Pablo, and then he doesn't. He gets ambushed, his plan backfires, and that was an insane, shocking moment to see. That was one of my favorite moments in the show. And then Pablo's death here. I knew going into it that Pablo died by gunfire here, but it was kind of crazy that the way they did it and, trying to replicate it as much as they could to real life here, seeing, the shots from real life to the events in the show. Really cool to see. And like I said, I like how they based it off of there, having, of course, basing it off of real life events and not changing the story as much. Like I said, I haven't read totally on everything that's in Narcos here, but I'm pretty sure that they stuck pretty well to the source material, maybe made some minor changes here and there. And also season 2 is where we get introduced to the Cali cartel. This is like the next big cartel, and like I said, Los Pepes, they're sort of a part of Los Pepes here, and we see how they just cause so much trouble and really sparked my interest for season 3, because season 3, I knew that season 3 was not going to have Pablo in it, and I was really scared, and I really thought that it wasn't going to be that great. I thought it was going to definitely be a drop in quality. I have a friend who watched just the Pablo Escobar seasons, and I want to know how they were going to build this new cartel up, but I think they did an excellent job. I think season 3, honestly, is on par with season 1 here, with just some great writing and, honestly, the best characters for real. In season 1 and season 2, besides Pablo and Pena and Murphy, there really wasn't too many characters I could really connect with because people were just dying so fast. And, you'd see them in one episode, next thing you know, they're gone. And it's like, didn't really have much time to connect with these characters. But in season 3, I think they did a really great job of building up both of the Rodriguez brothers, as well as Pacho. We see more on his backstory, and Chepe here, the 4 Dons here, and then building up some of these side characters. Salcedo being one of my absolute favorites, probably my top 5 characters from the show. Navigante was great. Some even characters that you're supposed to dislike, like David, of course, Miguel's son here. I just think that they did a really great job with the character building in season 3. Salcedo was absolutely amazing. I loved his take on, trying to get out of the game, and they won't let him. So he's got to resort to the DEA measures here. And, you always hate the rats, but for some reason you like him. And it's really great to see. Like I said, I think that the characters in season 3 are the best of any of the seasons. And I really like this whole idea of the war between them and North Valley. We see Pacho and him talking with the Juarez cartel leader, Armando Fuentes here, who, like Pablo, one of the richest criminals of all time, believed to be second richest behind only Pablo Escobar. So that was absolutely amazing to see, and it really sparked my love for the season 1. Like I said, season 2 really just kind of, it was good, but it was definitely a step down for me. Season 3 really picked it back up with that great character building, and the second to last episode here, the tension, the absolute tension you feel for Salcedo in this. Is he going to get caught? Is he going to get killed? Is he going to get out of this? Is the DA finally going to catch Miguel? A few episodes prior, we saw them so close. They were literally just a few inches away from Miguel, just breaking that wall down, and then the lawyer comes and bails him out. And just like Pablo here, the Rodriguez brothers have everyone on lock here. And we see that in the finale, how they paid off this new Colombian president here so that their jail time isn't going to be bad, or they're not going to serve hard time here. And we see how the DA has to work around that. And we see how Pena goes on record here and does what's right. And even though it cost him his position here and he resigns, I think it was a satisfying conclusion to the entire story. You know, we finally got a conclusion to the Cali cartel and, of course, the whole Pablo storyline in seasons 1 and 2. I think it was really great. Like I said, Pablo being the standout of the series, just absolutely amazing job. I loved Pena as well. Definitely grew on me a lot more as the seasons went on. I think his character got better and better. And yeah, so those are my thoughts on Narcos. Like I said, if there was any negatives, I would have to say here it's the lack of character building in the first few seasons here, and then also a few scenes that could be nitpicked here and there. I really didn't like the plane scene, but I know that's very accurate to real life events where the guy goes and blows up the plane, because in that case, I'm like, why didn't he check if the plane had the president on it? So I was just like, didn't really make sense to me at that point, but as it's based off real life events, I definitely see why they had to include that in the story here. But yeah, overall, Narcos, a great show, and absolutely loved it. Now here for the one show recommendation here. Now this is one that I usually don't give a lot on my channel. Usually when I give my one show recommendation, I always give a show that I have seen before and think it's very similar to. But in the case of Narcos here, I have to give it to Narcos Mexico here. I haven't seen it yet, but definitely one that's on my watch list. Probably will do a TV series review for it as well. I think it's definitely one that I've heard great things about. I've heard some people even said it's better than Narcos, the original, but we'll have to see on that. I know it follows sort of in that similar retrospect here, and definitely one that I'm looking to check out, and definitely one I think you should watch if you're into Narcos. Definitely check out the sequel series, Narcos Mexico. And now for the tier ranking here for Narcos. Narcos was an absolutely phenomenal show here. For me, it started out at elite tier, then it went down to great tier after season 2, and then season 3 brought it back up to elite tier for me. I think that Narcos is an elite tier for me. Absolutely great show. I think the plot is one of my favorites. Definitely one that I really liked a lot. Like a 9 or 9.5 out of 10 plot. Absolutely loved it. A lot of twists and turns throughout the entire story. And like I said below, leave a comment of your favorite moments in Narcos or your thoughts on Narcos. We'd really like to have a discussion with you guys in the comment section below. And also your favorite character. I know most people are going to say Pablo, including myself here. So yeah, that's going to do it here for the Narcos TV series review. If you want to see more TV series reviews, definitely look down in the description below, as well as my other content as well. Definitely have a lot of great TV and TV related content on the channel for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Take care and peace out.